Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Tony Wilkin Gibbard, and I am Executive Director of Midwest Environmental Advocates. And welcome to the third annual Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Awards celebration. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. We're gathered today to celebrate three extraordinary individuals who have worked tirelessly to advance environmental justice in Wisconsin. And why don't we start right there by welcoming our guests of honor, this year's award winners, Brenda Coley, Richard Diaz, and Tom Kilian, along with our special guest, Professor Margaret Newton. Before we go any further, I want to thank our sponsors for their generous support of Midwest Environmental Advocates and for making this evening possible. So a heartfelt thank you to Delta Properties, Carlson Black, O'Callahan, and Battenberg, Davis Kielfau, Wheeler Van Sickle and Anderson, Hawks Quindell, and Pines Bach. And I know that there are many others in attendance tonight who are supporters of MEA. So thank you all for making Midwest Environmental Advocates possible. And for those of you considering a gift to MEA tonight, please know that there's a donation link in the chat that's available to you. So as I said, we've come together tonight to celebrate Brenda Coley, Richard Diaz, and Tom Kilian, people who get up each day to make a difference in their community, motivated by compassion and love for their neighbors, for the earth, and for the greater good. Through their work, Brenda, Richard, and Tom are giving power back to communities who have been on the receiving end of environmental harm and have for far too long been shut out of the decisions that affect their future and their health. Our awardees, as you will learn tonight, are truly exceptional people. But as we celebrate them, we also recognize the potential that lives in all of us, the potential to make a difference, the potential to stand up for the health and well-being of one's community and to protect the environment for the benefit of current and future generations. And that belief that each one of us has the power to make a difference lies central to the mission of Midwest Environmental Advocates. For more than 20 years, MEA has practiced a collaborative approach to environmental problem solving, an approach that combines the power of law with the resolve of communities facing environmental injustice, using that combination, utilizing it to secure and protect our rights to healthy water, land, and air. And of course, our ability to address the serious environmental challenges that we are facing requires a broad-based mobilization of all Wisconsin communities. All people, regardless of race, income, zip code, should and must see themselves and have the power to help and create a just and livable future. While the threats that we are facing certainly are monumental, as we'll learn tonight, the power of people who are willing to persistently act as stewards and advocates for environmental justice, that is an even greater power. So we come together tonight to celebrate that power, and we come gathered here virtually from communities around the state. I am joining you from Madison, where I live and work on traditional Ho-Chunk homelands in a place known as Dejope, which means the Four Lakes. And the Ho-Chunk and many other Native peoples are amongst those presently living and working here in Madison. Professor Margaret Newton, our opening speaker, who we'll hear from in just a moment, joins us from Milwaukee, which is on traditional Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk, and Menominee homelands, along the southwest shores of Michigamme, the largest freshwater lake system in this land, where the Milwaukee, Menominee, and Kinnickinnick rivers meet, and where the people of the sovereign Anishinaabe, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Oneida, and Mohican nations and other indigenous peoples remain present. So let me introduce Professor Newton. Professor Newton is a poet. She is a teacher of the Anishinaabe-Moan language, a professor of English and American Indian Studies at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, where she also serves as the director of the Electa Quinney Institute, the Electa Quinney Institute for American Indian Education. Tonight, Professor Newton will call on us to reaffirm our commitment to the places we call home, to reflect on our capacity to be agents for positive change in our communities. And so with that, Professor Newton, we're really honored to have you join us this evening. The floor is yours.
Miigwech, Tony, it's really an honor to be here, and I have just two poems to share, but they are in Anishinaabemowin and English. So I write them first in Anishinaabemowin, and these are two that I think speak to the efforts of the people we're honoring tonight. The first is about the city where I live and teach right now, Milwaukee, and it's a bit of a story of that place and what should and can continue happening there. The way that we've lived in that space for a very long time. So I will share it with you as I wrote it in Anishinaabemowin, and then I will give you all the translations. So have no fear. You can enjoy hearing the language, and then I'll let you know what it means. Iwen amau, oma bisho michigami, bidagoshenek danisadotamak, Ginagawen amoat giken amoat Mano mini Quinnebago Bodoe wadamik Giwen amau Mino aki mino nibi Gedabajim oyang debwetamak Ejababa mendamong wabashkak Mamano nenme youngedwawa watesek misquabe mijig way a heoa heoe Iwen de bishko komisiban Adazokanak dagiknamagoyek Jimara onadiek gaye mamka dendamek Mikonigwa mikwanagong mashkigaging mikmowaki We aheoa heoe, which translated into English means give things in exchange here by the great sea. When you arrive in this place, you should know that things have been mixed together, all of the knowledge of the Menominee, Ho-Chunk, and Potawatomi people. Give things in exchange, the good land, this good water, as we tell stories of this place that are true, about the way we care for the waves and are amazed by the fireflies and red willow. Give things in exchange, Give things in exchange like a long ago grandmother, stories that can teach you to be generous with one another and amazed when you find yourself on this island, the living land, the good land. And that's a song that we can sing in Milwaukee, but it also spreads across our state of Wisconsin because the Menominee, Ho-Chunk, and Potawatomi people have given so much to this place and been such good stewards and continue to be amazing stewards of this place. The other piece that I want to share is kind of special to me, and I hope that it has meaning for our guests tonight because it's about dreaming of a different place. So in the midst of COVID, I was sort of challenged by some other poets that I know to write about something that dreams of a time beyond the pandemic we were all living in. And I think that in some ways, many of us would consider the climate change that we are enduring and attempting to be resilient through as another kind of a crisis. And so this is a poem called I Dream a World, which was written the way that poets will echo across each other frequently. You have the sense that what Martin Luther King gave a speech about and what Langston Hughes wrote about is all connected to the very same thing that we're concerned about right now. So this is another version of that same thought, dreaming of a world that we can all share. Nimwadana king, hatemegak binagame, getemitigak gae gwekpanemat. Nimwadana king, ijimikwenemang, nanda gikendamang gae mam wede bendamang wabang. Nimwadana king, ijibim skobedek ijigang, wabandamang nasap, ga ejene bawit wichipin matazit. And here's how it goes in English. It was also written at a time when, with Brenda and others, we were remembering people that were not with us anymore in Milwaukee. And some of the work that we do is to help our environment, but our environment is also the communities that we are part of. So it's also thinking of the neighbors we were missing. I dream of a world with clean water, ancient trees, and changing winds. I dream of a world where we remember the ones who seek the truth and we believe in tomorrow together. I dream of a world where our path in the sky can be seen as clearly as the place where our neighbors once stood. And I think, all of the folks that we're here honoring tonight know how to pay attention to the neighbors around us. Really am honored to be a part of this celebration tonight, and I'll turn it back to you, Tony.
Professor Newton, thank you so much for that beautiful invocation that directly applies to those that we are honoring. So what a fitting way to begin the evening. And we're set to begin the award portion of the evening. And I'll just say it's a great honor to present tonight's first award to someone who I know and I've seen bring a long-standing commitment to social justice and community organizing to her work. Brenda Coley currently serves as the co-executive director of Milwaukee Water Commons, where she works to catalyze Milwaukee as a place where Milwaukeeans have a stake in the health of waters and where all Milwaukeeans share in the stewardship and the benefits of water. Brenda's leadership and vision are exemplified in the formation of the Milwaukee Environmental Justice Roundtable, which is a group composed of people of color, Indigenous people, and their white allies who work to advance clean energy, climate resilience, and the human right of clean drinking water. Brenda has played a leading role in the Milwaukee Water Equity Task Force, focusing on pathways to a more equitable water future and a more inclusive Milwaukee workforce. Brenda, I know that you have the respect of many of your colleagues and partners. If we were gathered in person tonight, they would surely be here to let you know how much you deserve this award and recognition for all that you do. So in this video, you will hear from some of them.
Congratulations, Brenda, on this well-deserved award. Really can't express how grateful I am that you made your way to Milwaukee Water Commons. I'm just really amazed at how you've made our work better, and I'm really proud to work with you and know you.
Congratulations, Brenda, on receiving the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award. I think it is entirely deserved and important recognition of your general commitment to justice for communities that you work and live with. Brenda, you are certainly a leader in the movement around environmental justice, and it shows not just in your work but in your life. I have seen you advocate in federal committees to state politicians, institutional leaders, and here in the city with decision makers as well, but not just with decision makers in professional spaces, but friends and counterparts. Your willingness to have challenging conversations for the benefit of this movement, for the benefit of people, for the benefit of the environment is truly what makes you an inspiring leader.
Congratulations, Brenda, on this well-deserved honor. You really helped expand the leadership acting on behalf of our common waters, and your leadership carries with it the voices and priorities of those who will be first and most impacted by the decisions being made and the agendas being set, and better solutions are rising because of it.
Brenda, I want to wish you congratulations on the receipt of the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award. It is an honor to work with you and to share leadership with you and to learn from you. Your impact on this movement, on the environmental movement, on the work of environmental justice, on protection and elevation of our shared waters, and just in general, the work towards a thriving people and planet is going to be felt for generations to come. You're celebrated today, and the movement wouldn't be the same without you.
Brenda, I couldn't say it any better than your colleagues. So I'll just simply say, on behalf of MEA, our staff, and our board, congratulations on this much-deserved award. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tony. I'm feeling very emotional right now, but I'll try to get through some of the remarks that I've written down. I want to first give my appreciation and thanks to Midwest environmental advocates for not only this award, but for the work you are doing across the state. And I know that you all have the ability to be at the highest court in our state, and I see you on the ground in our community lending support, and I want to thank you all for that. I'm honored to receive this award and especially pleased to be honored along with Richard Diaz and Tom Kilian. And anytime I'm on a program with Margaret Newton, it's a good day. Lastly, I want to thank my beloved colleagues at Milwaukee Water Commons who you got a chance to see. We are small, but we are mighty, and they provide a tremendous amount of support for my leadership. And I think it was evidence in that film. Thank you, Cynthia and Joe, Rhonda, Kirsten, and Janet. This month is the 30th anniversary of the first National People of Color Environmental Leadership Summit, which was held in Washington, D.C. in 1991. It was a movement of extraordinary convergence of people who have had a lasting impact on the environmental justice movement in our country. As far as I know, there were 6 people from Wisconsin who attended, both from rural and urban areas. We had representation from the Oneida tribe, the Menominee tribe, a person came from La Crosse, and Ann Wilson, an African-American woman in Milwaukee, was there as well. I know that these kinds of reminders I trust that these kinds of reminders really, will put to rest the harmful and disappearing of people of color in the environmental movement. The notions that because we deal with racism, we don't have an interest or time to advocate on behalf of the environment. But POC folks, Black folks, and Indigenous leaders have always led on the intersectionality of environmental issues, people and planet. There is a saying in the Black environmentalist community: until we make peace with the earth, there will be no peace in the human community. And as the effects of climate change rage on, so does the human community. I just want to take my last few minutes to really uplift and elevate the environmental work that is being done in Milwaukee, and in particular in the Black community. Just before the pandemic, Milwaukee Water Commons, along with other environmental groups connected with the Milwaukee Environmental Consortium, moved into Lindsay Heights neighborhood. Lindsay Heights, named after a community activist, was once a stop on the Underground Railroad. These community-based environmental organizations were invited by a longtime residential developer to assist in their vision of creating an environmental hub within the Black community in Milwaukee. An office building was renovated to be environmentally sustainable, and several environmental groups moved in. We strive to be a part of the revitalization efforts of the neighborhood, not to displace current residents, but to work on EJ issues in solidarity with our neighbors. Our work is centered on the principles of community engagement, being authentic, transparent, and being in solidarity. We are listening for innovation at the community level and to help uplift issues regarding climate resilience and justice, healthy drinking water. But there are other issues that intersect with these traditional environmental issues, which include jobs and housing and others. With that, I want to say thank you to everyone again for this Bill Iwen EJ Award, and I look forward to the work that we'll all continue to do in the next year. So thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you for your partnership. And I have seen firsthand how you carry on and bring that intersectional analysis, not only to community work in Milwaukee, not only to city policy in Milwaukee, but to statewide policy that will affect Wisconsinites across the state. So thank you for all that you do. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. It's also a great honor to recognize our next award winner, Richard Diaz. Richard is a longtime community organizer whose work has made Milwaukee a more resilient and a more equitable community. He is co-founder of the Coalition on Lead Emergency, also known as COLE. He serves as chairperson of that organization. COLE is dedicated to bringing attention to the disproportionate harm that lead poisoning causes Black and low-income families in Milwaukee and across Wisconsin. In his work with COLE, Richard has accomplished quite a bit. He advocates for solutions to the lead crisis that take that intersectional approach that we just heard about, that address racial and economic justice, as well as environmental justice. Recently, he led COLE to draft an ambitious proposal developed collectively by COLE's membership that would and will invest historic levels of resources available through the American Rescue Plan Act to address those issues holistically in Milwaukee. Richard also works as the Midwest Regional Field Organizer for the Blue-Green Alliance, where he engages partners and allies in solving environmental challenges in ways that maintain quality jobs and also build clean, thriving, and equitable economies. Richard, as I said to Brenda, we wish that you could be receiving this award in front of your friends and coworkers. And since they can't be there with you, we want to bring them here with all of us. Here's a video of a few of them explaining why you are so deserving of this award.
Hi everyone. Hi Richard. Congratulations on the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award. We are so incredibly proud of you. Through our work with the Coalition on Lead Emergency, you have done so much for young people in Milwaukee, for families in Milwaukee, and making sure that they are protected against lead poisoning. Your heart is so in this advocacy work, and we just are so proud to be working alongside you in these efforts to make sure that we have a lead-free Milwaukee and an equitable place for all people to thrive. So proud of you, Richard. Congratulations again. Thanks so much for all the work that you do in our community.
Congratulations, Richard. You're an amazing leader. I can't think of anyone who deserves the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award more than you. The care, compassion, and tenacity that you embody in leading the Coalition on Lead Emergency is motivating, energizing, and inspiring to all of us. Thank you. The work that you do and the work that you inspire others to do is helping to change the life trajectory for children for an entire community. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the work that you do. And God bless the Coalition on Lead Emergency.
Richard, I am so delighted that you are being honored with the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award. We go way back now. It's been 3 years since we sat around a table in the basement of Hephatha Lutheran Church in 18th and Locust in Milwaukee and forged the beginning of the Coalition on Lead Emergency, or COLE. You just spent that summer with a crew that worked with you to go door to door in the Amani neighborhood with information about lead poisoning, the environmental threat that raised for low-income people of color in that neighborhood, and came into this formation of our coalition with a deep sense of grassroots pain and understanding. And that has been critical to the work of COLE over the last 3 years. It's amazing to me watching how you have developed from a terrific grassroots organizer, rather fearless and tireless in your work, to become the chair in the last few years of COLE and guiding us really into becoming the primary voice for environmental concern around lead poisoning in the inner city, particularly of Milwaukee. I have the deepest respect for you, your energy, your humility, your commitment to form a strong coalition, not around you, but around the interest of people that are directly impacted, guiding their own leadership ability through the formation of COLE Parents Lead, and being present and working hard at the local level and also at the state and national level. So I have the greatest regard for you, Richard, and I wish you the best, and thank you for being so great a leader in Cole.
Richard, Nurse Chris said it well. Everything that you do in your work at Cole and as the chairperson is motivating, it's inspiring. I'm inspired to get to work with you, and it is an honor to present the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Tony. And I'd just like to, say thank you to all the coalition members and organizations around the table. Seeing those videos literally brought a tear to my eye, a tear of joy and just encouragement and also fire. While it's good to be recognized and noticed for the great things that I do and that the coalition does, there's still a ton of work to be done in protecting children, providing services for families that are impacted by lead, and just doing a deep dive into that education for the public. It's lead in water, it's lead in paint, it's lead in soil, and that's why we're the Coalition on Lead Emergency. I'd like to spend some of my time giving a huge shout out to some of my colleagues around the table. Of course, to Brenda Coley at the Milwaukee Water Commons, but also to Janet Pritchard, Rhonda Nordstrom, Joe Fitzgerald of the Water Commons. I'd like to also give a shout out to Diane Dagdalin from Interfaith Earth Network and her tireless research and ability to put together data that helps inform us with our asks. I'd like to give a shout out to Miss Ann Batiza of the League of Women Voters for her tireless efforts in, engaging elected officials and also engaging members of the League of Women Voters to become informed and take action on what needs to happen. Of course, my family at WCV, Wisconsin Conservation Voters, Ariana, Angelito, Carrie Schumann, Jen Giedrich. I'd like to give a shout out to, of course, Pastor Dennis Jacobson and the folks at Micah, Miss Lisa Jones, Pastor Mary Martha, Pastor Elwinger, my community folks, Antonio Butts from Walnut Way, my knit team at Walnut Way, Cassandra Flagg and Pastor Teresa Thomas Boyd. I'd like to give a shout out to the families and parents at Co-Parents League, Shakita McElroy, our Co-Parents League organizer, Deanna Branch, Shanice Bakay, Natalie Branch, and many others. I consider myself a conduit of all the folks I mentioned and more. And, my success is their success, and we will continue to push the needle, and we will continue to keep driving the narrative. It wasn't until a group of grassroots activists, community organizations came together and essentially came off the street and pointed to the fact that the actionable level needs to be lowered from 20 micrograms per deciliter down to 5, or that, birthing mothers giving birth in the most lead impacted zip codes need resources upon discharge from the hospital. It wasn't until we came along that we began to drive this narrative and really move the needle. And I'm just so honored and grateful that we can continue to work in this space and engage other organizations, build the capacity of our parents to lead and show us what needs to happen. So I'd also like to give one final shout out to Tony and of course Andrea Gillette at MEA, which bring incredible value to our coalition and essentially puts us on steroids. So thank you.
Thank you, Richard, and I'm not surprised that you thank the many members of the coalition, and I'll just reflect back what Pastor Jacobson said, that you really have been central and the driving force in building such a powerful and effective coalition. So congratulations, and we're just very happy to recognize you. So it is now my honor to present the final award of the evening to Tom Kilian. Tom is the co-founder of Citizens for a Clean Wausau, which is an environmental watchdog group whose volunteers monitor the activities and the impacts of current and past industrial polluters. Tom has worked with Citizens for a Clean Wausau to uncover the extent of contamination on Wausau's southwest side and to raise awareness of the ways in which that racially diverse working class neighborhood has disproportionately borne the impacts of industrial pollution. Tom's experience advocating for and with people in his community inspired him to run for public office, and last year he won election to the Wausau City Council. As a member of the City Council, Tom continues to advocate for environmental testing and remediation of toxic contamination and to end industrial expansion in residential neighborhoods. Tom has played a key role in educating the Wausau community about the principles of environmental justice, including the need for greater transparency in decision-making and more opportunities for inclusive public engagement. As a result of Tom's advocacy, the city of Wausau recently became one of the first municipalities in Wisconsin, and maybe the first, to adopt an environmental justice resolution, a declaration, a formal declaration of the city's commitment to use principles of equity and inclusion when making environmental decisions. Tom, the people in your community who nominated you for this award spoke enthusiastically about your commitment to making environmental justice more of a reality in Wausau. And we wanted to share with you what a few of them had to say about your valuable contributions.
Hi, I'm Bruce Grau. I'm a member of Citizens for Clean Wausau as well as the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign. I wish to congratulate Tom Kilian as well as the other two recipients of the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Advocate Award. Tom's been an environmental wonk, having already reviewed 15,000 to 20,000 documents related to his neighborhood's environment. He's a masterful practitioner in the use of knowledge, research, debate, and mass communication as a means of empowering regular people. He's encouraged collaboration with the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign to expand the fight for environmental justice. Tom's always encouraged us in the CCW, among other things, to not be discouraged because we are a small group. He frequently quotes an African proverb that states, "If you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping in a room with a mosquito." Well, in the past few years, Tom has helped transform this bunch of mosquitoes into a nest of hornets. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk about such a special person as Tom Kilian.
Hey, congratulations, Tom. I'm delighted to have been one of several people in our area that nominated you for the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award. Watching your passion, your dedication, your hard work, and everything that you helped Citizens for Clean Wausau become. The dedication to our community and making it a better place is really awesome. I could not be more proud to be your friend, Tom. Congratulations. This is very well deserved.
Thanks to Tom's hard work, dedication, research, and educating the community about the contamination at the old Crestline S&E site, the Connors Forest Product site, and other sites in the Wausau area, he has helped make our community a safer and better place to live and work. He's inspired others to get involved. Tom has taken his talent of research and communication and is able to research environmental issues and take it back to the community and our representatives so they can better understand what's really going on. And that is really important. Thank you, Midwest Environmental Advocates, for awarding Tom Kilian the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award. And thank you, Tom Kilian, for your hard work and dedication to helping make our community a better place to live and work. Thank you and congratulations, Tom, on receiving the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award. You deserve it. You so much deserve it, my friend. You so much deserve it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tom. I was extremely honored and happy to nominate you for this award. I could not possibly sum up in a quick video what all Tom Kilian has done for Wausau and our community and just continues to do every day. Inspiring to watch and just see all of the things he has impacted. It's truly amazing what might have not gotten done in the past 5 or so years in Wausau without him leading the way. The neighborhood and our entire city will truly be forever grateful for everything he's done to stand up for common citizens, fight back against big corporations and government itself. I'm extremely honored to know Tom and have worked beside him on some projects. And we just thank you so much for everything that you do.
Tom, I've gotten to see firsthand what an effective leader and organizer you are in Wausau. It has been a pleasure and honor to work with you, and it is an honor to present you with the Bill Iwen Environmental Justice Award. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Tony, and I'd like to thank MEA for this award and everything it does. And I'd like to thank my friends and colleagues for the very kind words tonight. And I'll say that, you know, what many of them have done in the community has been very powerful and impactful. So it means a great deal to me to hear those words. And at the onset of becoming involved in environmental issues, the neighborhood I live in was thrust in the middle of cities planning for a major road and development project, in which homes were going to be demolished and residents displaced through potential use of eminent domain and later gentrification. And I bring this up because in my opinion, often where there are environmental problems, it's a manifestation of other serious underlying issues too, like poor government policy, inequality, serious inequities, lax regulation, and more. And in the case of injustice, when the insides of our institutions are tainted, it's not long before the outside is too, and that outside is our environment. And that was the case here. The same disregard that was being shown to people here when they were being pushed out of their homes and neighborhood was the same disregard that industrial players and the business elite showed them for decades as they polluted our groundwater, soil, and air in the neighborhood. And the community and Citizens for a Clean Wausau has worked for years toward the goal of defining the nature and extent of contamination on Wausau's southwest side so that it can be remediated. And we've seen some progress on multiple sites now with testing and likely future remediation. And the situation here has been a reminder, I think, that regular folks who persist can make a difference, even when very powerful entities are involved. So I would say that if you care about something deeply, do never give up and do not go away. And I would like to use the remainder of my time to thank many involved in the progress we've seen in Wausau. It has really been a team effort and taken a village. And I'd like to start by thanking the residents of the Thomas Street neighborhood and the southwest side for all they've endured on the environmental front over decades, and the epic fight that they put up against the powerful in both the private sector and the government. I'd like to thank my fellow members of Citizens for a Clean Wausau, Teresa Mills and Stephen Lester of CHEJ. Without Teresa, CCW would not even exist, and Stephen's toxicology expertise provided essential insight into what the community was facing here. I'd like to thank attorneys Ted Warpinski and Andy Skarwowski, now of Davis Coulthau, for their legal work in the neighborhood and the associated documentation from which we learned so much here. I'd like to thank local journalists in town for bringing these facts to the public and being truth tellers, particularly Shireen Seward of Wausau Pilot and Brian Kowalski of Wausau City Pages. I'd like to thank Kimberly Wright, Tony Wilkin-Gibbert, Rob Lee, and the rest of MEA for its help starting nearly a decade ago here in Wausau, as well as Joel Lewis for his support over 7 years via multiple organizations supporting and defending the neighborhood on the environmental front. And finally, I'd like to thank the Department of Natural Resources, particularly two individuals, Mr. Matt Thompson and Mr. Dave Roseboom, who oversee many of our neighborhood sites. They may say that they are simply doing their jobs, but it is only by doing their jobs that we are afforded any protections here. So while I might have been considered the tip of the spear on some efforts, it really has been a team effort. I think if everyone had not done their part, much of the things that have happened likely would not have occurred at all. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. I know how much you enrich your community, and all three of our award winners enrich their communities, they enrich the state, they enrich the movement. And we are just so honored to be able to recognize them. We're also, and we have been, enriched by your presence and your participation, everyone who has attended this evening to make this celebration happen. Thank you for joining us. And we need you to continue to stand with us. Standing with us can take many forms. For those of you who would like to make a contribution to Midwest Environmental Advocates, there's a link in the chat about how you can contribute. We've seen firsthand how more equitable access to legal resources and information can make a real difference for communities facing environmental threats. And the result is not only a healthier community, but it is empowerment and abundance of hope and inspiration that motivates all of us as we move forward. But I also encourage you to learn more about the organizations of the three award winners, Milwaukee Water Commons, Cole, and Citizens for a Clean Wausau. They are effective and powerful advocates and partners in our work, and links to their websites are also in the chat. You'll also find a link to the Electa Quinney Institute, where Professor Newton is the director. So as we conclude tonight, I want to thank everyone who made this event possible, especially our sponsors, of course, our award winners, our special guest, and to MEA staff, especially Peg and Hannah, for putting all of this together, to MEA's board for their guidance and leading the organization, and again, to all of you for, in ways large and small, in many forms, supporting MEA and the movement for environmental justice. Thank you all, and good night.